am Samuel Chase, signer of the Declaration, voice of the people, and, some said, fiery orator of Maryland. The British taxed us without our say. I saw firsthand how Parliament twisted power into profit. Corruption had become the art of British rule. I no longer held the least hope in their wisdom or virtue. I declared our only reliance must be on God and ourselves. So I led protests in Annapolis, rallied tradesmen and farmers, and saw to it that no paper was sold under that cursed Stamp Act. When the call for independence came, Maryland hesitated. I rode to every county, stirred the hearts of men, and returned with full authority to cast our vote for liberty. I signed the Declaration, and years later stood trial myself for speaking too boldly as a judge. But I never bowed, and I never will. Let that be your inheritance.
Here we go again.
You can come in. After Honest Legacy will be then a peacemaker.
Peacemaker under the fire. Beautiful. Together with like-minded leaders, we have a voice. Is it safe?
It is safe.
Everyone wants to know. So here it is. Hi, Mr. President. Congratulations.
Did you watch it?
I did not. Yeah, I will see it on the news.
This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world.
Cameras on, we're going live tonight. American pride and patriot fight. The white rabbit has taken flight. Knock, knock, sleepy Neo, this is for real. We're swallowing red pills left and right. Come and overdose with us Tuesday night. They say we're crazy, say we've gone too far, but we're just truth seekers under the dome. Don't be mad at us, Google Chrome. They laugh, they mock, they think we're insane. Please just use your effing brain. This is the UPC where real Americans are standing up, taking control of the matrix we keep dying for. You don't like it, you can leave. If you wanna complain, call the damn 6 screens, cause we're already detached from deep state machines. They say we're crazy, they say I've gone too far, ready to drown us with feathers and tar. If you're still in our country, we haven't gone far enough. They love to hate us, thinking we've gone insane, but we could care less, they don't know our pain. This is the UPC where real Americans are standing up, taking control to save us, Jesus Christ. Oh, come me to light the flame. But if I say Christ is king, oops, I'm anti-Semitic too. This is the UPC where real Americans are standing up, taking control of a matrix we keep dying for. You don't like it, you can leave. If you wanna complain, call the damn 6 screens, cause we're already detached from deep state machines.
Yay! That was awesome. I love it. And I don't think I will ever get sick of it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Good evening, Ruby. How are you?
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
Hello, chat. We're back. Welcome back to the Unrelenting Political Corner with our new intro.
And guess who else is here?
Who? Oh!
What's going on, guys? Welcome back.
What's up?
It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Did you make that, Ruby?
Okay, so this was a 3-person collaboration. Jimmy got the beats and the framework of the song. I rewrote the lyrics, so all of the lyrics are me. And then John, XJW Analyzer, did the graphics, the visuals. So all 3 of us worked on this.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
I really like the Christ is King part. That was good. That was classic.
I know.
I really like that. That was good.
Yes, I love it. And I posted in my video tab, I posted the song and the lyrics. So if you really want to read into the lyrics a little bit more, you can go to my channel or Jimmy's channel and you'll see the song with the lyrics included.
Well, let's catch up, Bo. How was your holidays?
Yeah.
It was good. It was busy. You guys?
Same. It was busy.
It was chaotic.
Yeah, that's oh,
yeah, it was crazy. And I actually had like a seasonal position, so I was working for a little bit. And now I quit that and I am 100% back to stay-at-home mom, homeschooling, and now officially back to like dedicated to the UPC. Like you're getting the old me back again. So get ready, everybody. Because I was pretty nice, you know. Me and Jimmy were kind of like, oh, you know, I haven't really seen the news this week, so we're just gonna wing it. But no more, guys. We're not winging it no more. We are bringing the heat.
Yeah,
I missed you guys so much. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I was like, I keep on forgetting when you guys are coming back, and I was sending messages to Jimmy. He's like, no, not this week. I was like, no.
Yeah. But isn't it so fitting that we came back on J6?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't even realize that.
Yes. 5 years ago, 5 years ago on this night, I was on the streets of Washington, D.C., interviewing people that attended J6.
Yeah.
And those interviews are on my YouTube channel. There's 2 of them there. One of them got taken down. I got to go back and see if I can't re-upload that one because I still have it. But yeah, that's where I was 5 years ago on today. So
Jimmy, happy Patriots Day.
Yes. Yes. And I celebrate with my Gulf of America shirt.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That is I love it. I love it. I love it.
So good evening, Leon.
Hi.
Leonard, I'm sorry. Leonard.
Hi, Leonard.
Hi. How is everybody this evening?
We are good. Did you see that I made up a song that had your title in it? I'm not a victim. I'm a victor, not a victim. It's on my YouTube channel.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go and check that out.
Yeah, go check it out. Go check it out.
Yeah.
I actually mentioned you in the description. So
that's so sweet. You have a song dedicated to you, Leonard. And I did a cover of that song. So you have to check. I haven't posted it yet, but I will. When I do, I'll let you know. Okay.
Thank you. I feel special. Y'all done made my day already.
Yeah, yeah, it's on there.
Well, get ready for tonight.
Right.
So just to let everybody know, just real quick, if you haven't, for those that don't know, I've been posting some songs on my YouTube channel. Some of them are Watchtower related, hatred towards them. We talked about this in the New Year's episode, and then I did some for the UPC. So you can go to my channel, go to the playlist section. You guys can check those out. Tell me what you think. You might like one or two of them. So, but I had fun making them. So, but now we're back to the UPC. So I'm going to try to stay focused on staying up with everything going on because it is getting crazy like we promised you it would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, all right, before we get into it, let's just say hi to everybody in the chat. So if you are watching now, enter the chat right now so we can get a quick shout out to everybody. John Marciano, Leonard, Jimmy, myself. Dan is in the chat. Dan is back. And finally, King Tony. We were on the phone before the show, so thankfully she was able to join. So Tony's in the chat.
Nice.
Bo is with us. Yep. J-Man United. Rosie. Who else? Mrs. So Much More. JG. Dallas. Beverly. Now this one is interesting. I haven't seen this user before. So welcome to the UPC. Now this is a really long handle, but it's Latin America Preparedness. Interesting name for YouTube. And he says, hello, Happy New Year. I did see Venezuela is the topic for discussion. My wife is a Venezuela citizen. So that's interesting.
Nice. That would be awesome. If you want to come on the stage if you want to come on the stage tonight, we welcome you to do that. We'd like a firsthand account to help us out with what we talk about. To answer James Spitfire, yes, we are going to talk about Venezuela tonight. Definitely. We're definitely going to be talking about that. But first, Ruby's going to talk about the Somalian stuff, and then we'll get into the Venezuelan stuff.
Right.
We're going to try to keep this at about 2 hours. If we go over a little bit, that's fine. But we're going to try to, keep our shows kind of shorter, so, because, some people have a hard time watching a 3 hour, 4 hour show, but we'll see how it goes.
Yep. All right. So really quickly, hi, Jay is in the chat. Okay. Who else? Justin. Welcome, Justin from California. Who else? King of Dots is in the chat. Welcome. Haven't seen him in a minute. I mean, I've seen him on other channels, but not on the UPC. So welcome. Hi, Jane.
He's been responding to a lot of he's been putting comments on my YouTube videos, my music videos, my songs.
Okay. Joseph is here. Welcome, Joseph. Okay, I think I'm at the end now. Let's see. I put the link just in case if anybody wants to join the stage. Jane says, oh yeah, the Somalians faking the daycare scene in Minnesota.
Yep.
To get state funds. Yeah, so really quickly, if you have any opinions and want to join now about it, join the stage now. Give your opinions, unfiltered, judgment-free zone, safe zone, because you already know I'm gonna get crazy.
Sorry. Go ahead, Ruby. What?
Go ahead. I was just saying hi. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, before we even get started tonight, you guys know that we try to give you the best information we can. Granted, we're going to share the information with you. You decide, what resonates with you or not. Okay. So we're going to be pulling a lot of different clips from different videos and just putting the information out there. And we just ask that if there's something that I discuss, especially with the Venezuelan thing, that you go and do some more deeper research on what we're talking about, because it's not just about oil. So anyway, we'll get into that.
I have a
Yep.
question for. I have a question for Jimmy, Ruby, and Book. Oh
Bo.
Lord, Bo,
Bo.
You can call me
and
Boo
also
or
for the
Bo, whatever you want.
chat. Okay. Uh, I have a question for everyone. How do you all feel about the recent ISIS coming in and cracking down with the illegal immigration tactic? Well, just the illegal immigration in general. Because I know they were here in Charlotte a couple months ago and they were kind of well, not secretive, but they were kind of hiding out. And that kind of gave me the sense of they were trying to stay undercover while ISIS moved out the way. So, how do you all feel about the whole situation?
With ICE doing all the arresting?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bo, you want to go first?
Well, first off, although the people that they're arresting, they're criminals, right? I mean,
Mm.
but we don't know what level criminal they are. I mean, think about you yourself, right? Do
Mm-hmm.
you leave your door open and lock and let anyone just come and go in your home?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So why are we any different? So my biggest problem with
Mhm.
this is we know that we have issues with the cartels, Venezuela, and we have problems with the Middle East. So we have multiple terrorist groups on top of human traffickers, and we know that during Biden's administration that kids were being trafficked in the US at the highest rate ever seen in history. So
Mhm.
how do we stop that? You stop and you close down the border, and then you get rid of the people that are in here that we don't know what they're doing. They don't have, you know, we have no way of knowing what they're doing. They're not being tracked. They're not working. There's nothing, in my opinion, that's valuable for them. All they do is take our resources that are already being strained as it is. We have an aging class, which is going, I mean, they're talking about removing Medicare because of this, because we can't afford all these people. So
Mm-hmm.
here are people who in their entire life have donated, given money the way they're supposed to. They're supposed to get the reward when they retire, and that's all going to be taken so that we can take people to give Democrat votes. That's
Mhm.
my opinion. It was organized because they lost the vote. They needed to get the vote back, and they didn't care how they did it. And they made deals with the cartel. They made deals with terrorist groups. They made deals with. We now know Putin. So I mean, we know what's going on in Venezuela. We know how much Putin was giving money. We know about the machines that are being used to fake the elections. So all those people are criminals, and we don't need 6 million criminals in our communities. Period, in
Mhm.
my opinion, and that's it.
Right.
Ruby?
Mhm. I would say that it's a manufactured problem because I don't think that America would let itself, like, it's preventable basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're a superpower. Why do we continue to see homelessness or people not being fed correctly, nutrition, the public school system? We are the United States of America. We should be looking like the future right now. And what do we look like? We're
Right.
horrible. So I think it's all planned. I think it's manufactured. And I also think it's dramatized for TV. And it's almost like a movie, right? Like a set, like a movie set. But in
Mm-hmm.
reality, they could fix things overnight like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It kind of sucks because we suffer, the citizens suffer, our children suffer, our country, our society suffers because of the make believe problems they want to make into a problem, which is not, it shouldn't be a problem because we have the resources, we have the money to do so. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's all a sham, in my opinion, but it's
Mm-hmm.
on purpose. It's on purpose to destroy America, our values, and our society. And I'll leave it at that. That's kind of like the basic explanation I can give you.
Okay.
Mhm.
So as far as the ICE situation, I have absolutely no problem with ICE coming in and taking out violent offenders, people that are causing harm in this country, people that are bringing drugs into this country. I have absolutely no issue with getting them out of here. I know that on the social media networks, platforms, you're going to see, oh, well, ICE is arresting, this innocent American or whatever. They keep putting that out there, but they don't show all the bad guys that are getting taken out and arrested. So if you really think about it, what Trump and his administration are doing with this, they're taking out the deep state foot soldiers and they're mopping these guys up before they can be activated. And we're going to get into that when we talk about Venezuela, because there's some connections there as well. If you think about it, you had that Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua in Colorado, overtaking apartment buildings and things like that. So these folks, here's the thing. If these folks weren't rounded up, then what happened in Venezuela a couple of days ago, they would have been activated. And they would have been in the streets. So by ICE going in and getting these people first, that takes that little bit of a threat away from the American people. So I have absolutely no problem with ICE going in and doing what they're doing.
Can I say something?
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the way I look at this. Exactly everything you guys said, I agree with 100%. Now think about these people and think about what kind of person they are. This is somebody who gives drugs to children and sells children for bad things. So if they're willing to do those things, imagine what they're willing to do for money. I mean, they do those things on normal for petty cash. Imagine getting big money, what they're going to be willing to do. And the answer is anything.
Yep.
That's how I look at them. If you're going to do that to children, you'll do anything else. Like that's the scum of the earth right there. You don't get any worse than that. And then they're in our country and they're taking from us. They need to be gone. And in my opinion, it doesn't matter how they get rid of them. If they can do it legally and arrest them, get them out, that's fine. But if it needs to go to the next level, I'm 100% behind them to do that because they are so dangerous. I mean, imagine if those people were your neighbors with your kids.
Hell no. No. And that's the point that I was trying to make, is that it is on purpose to destroy our society.
Yep.
Because why else would you allow these foreign dangerous people into your homeland? Like that makes no sense. That's like letting the enemy sleep right where you sleep. That makes no sense. So that just tells me that my own government hates me. They hate us, and they don't want us to succeed in anything. They set us up to fail. They trained us in public school systems for a world and a society that no longer exists. So we cannot survive in this world with the things that we were taught with. This is a whole new world that we're dealing with, and we're failing, and it's on purpose. We could barely buy groceries, but they want us to care about all these other things. We could barely afford housing for ourselves, but they will slap us in the face by giving immigrants free food and free housing on the taxpayer, on my dollar, on our dollar. That's a slap in the face to every citizen.
Right. And I just want to say this. First and foremost, I'm not a racist by far. Let me just say that first and foremost. Growing up, I never really was around a diverse race growing up, because I lived in Atlanta for 3 years and I really didn't have any contact with outside race, with the outside races, really. Even when I was growing up here in Charlotte, I really didn't. The only time when I did have any, well, even when I stayed in New York, I knew there were You know, they were and still is the melting pot of the country. But I still really didn't have any contact with the nationalities. You know, it was just black, and that's really it. You know, and in my mind, that's what I thought in my mind. And comparing it now, they are just all over the United States, definitely in the southern region of the country. And where the aunt who raised me, which is my grandmother's sister, the neighborhood where she lived in 54 years ago, she was I think she was the 7th or the 8th person to live in that community, because she moved in that neighborhood in 1971, and the 12 years that she was there, it was the same thing. There was no melting pot of the races at that time, and now 40 something years later, that community is just filled up with other races.
Oh, so you've noticed the replacement theory. They are replacing you.
Yeah. That's exactly. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And now, where my aunt currently lives now, it's the same thing. They have the area where she lives. They have businesses. They have homes. They have the apartments. The everything now. They have the everything. And my aunt was recently saying that she was thinking about selling her home. And I was thinking to myself, well, you might have to find one of them. Well, I better not say them, because I don't want to step on any
okay.
toes.
This is the UPC. It's okay. I've said way worse. It's okay.
You might, and I told her you might have to sell to one of them, because they are just buying up so many homes in this area now. They even have, it's a church that's not too far from here. They even have the church that's there now. And I'm like, okay, can the native people have a chance first before you all just bombard and come over?
Think about the money that went into what they just did to that. I'm sorry, what is your name? Leonard? Leonard. I'm sorry, Leonard. Your community. So think about the church, and the thing about the businesses. Think about how hard it is to start a business in this economy. How much money because of inflation that they're getting from nowhere. Like they came from another country, right? Supposedly, and they come over here. They have nothing, but somehow they're able to open multi-million-dollar businesses right in your guys' community. They're able to take your church. That I guarantee that church building is probably in the millions. Like it's probably close to $1 million.
I believe it.
That's a lot of property. You think about, like, when you have a church, you have the building, and then you think about the land. You have all the, you drive in and park. That's a lot of land, a lot of property. That's expensive, very expensive. That's what I'm hearing when I'm seeing you talking. I'm thinking, where did this money come from? Well, we know where the money came from really good daycares.
Exactly. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Ruby, do you have that picture that Trump put out on Truth Social that showed that had the whole list of countries and the money? I think I might have sent it to you in the DMs. Let's pull that up if you have that. And this will be a good segue into our first topic with what's going on in Minnesota. Because this would be good. You guys see this. Now, what we have to remember, though, is, Ruby touched on it. She said the replacement theory. Well, this is exactly what the deep state was trying to do here with the United States. They wanted to replace the hardworking Americans, have us dependent on the government, and then they were going to move in their own voting base, their own voting block. And this is what they've been doing for many years right now. And it's only here in the last 10 years that people have been waking up to what has been really going on with all these illegals coming into our country. They try to frame it as, oh, America should be helping these folks and giving them this and giving them that. Okay, I'm all about, if you want to come to this country and have a better life for yourself, that's all fine and well, but you're going to give something back to this country. These people that they're bringing over right now are giving back nothing to this country. They are taking from this country. Ruby, you got that slide ready? So this list right here.
Yeah.
And
okay. So I'm gonna try and zoom in.
Let me go over here. Let me get to where I can kind of see it too. So this list that you're seeing on your screen right now was put out by Donald Trump, and it shows the percentage of households that are getting federal assistance from our taxpayer dollars, and all this money is going to all these people from other countries. Look at this list. Ruby, can you list what's the top 5?
Okay, with the most, it says country of birth, Bhutan, 81%, Yemen, 75%. Somalia is third at 71%.
See
Marshall
why I said
Islands, Dominican Republic, Afghanistan, Congo. What is that?
So this is what was Somalia's number?
Somalia was listed third at 71.9%.
So that means that for every 100 immigrants that have come from Somalia, 70 of them are living off the system. Let that sink in, folks.
Wow.
All right. How many people do you know in your circle of friends or family that are actually living off the system? Might be a handful, but not 7 out of 10 people that you know. I wouldn't think. I could be wrong, but so now we look at Somalia or look at Minnesota and what's been going on with the corruption there and the fraud there. You got these people living off the system, but yet they have billions of dollars. How in the hell does that fucking happen? So, Ruby, did you want to talk more? You want to go into the Somalia or the Minnesota and we'll just feed off of it?
Oh, yes, of course. Because who is their governor? Tim Walz, right? And now this is the guy who the Democrats installed really to run as vice president. Now that raises a lot of question marks because I wouldn't doubt that they knew the type of corruption that this guy was in, and they wanted him to be the second most important person in the entire world as vice president. So let's just put that into context, right? So this is the guy who was going to be almost our VP. He's running his state, and this YouTuber, right? Because people want to discredit people like us who are not certified journalists or didn't go to college for this. And this YouTuber, Nick Shirley, if you haven't seen the news already, you probably already know him by now, but he was kind of like a regular dude who had a YouTube channel going to the border 5 years ago. And he was interviewing people and he was showing us how open the border was, how crazy they were busing these people to New York, to Chicago, to California, to sanctuary cities. And that's basically what season 2 was all about. We talked about this almost every Tuesday, how bad it was that New York had to take the city funds away from the NYPD and the fire department so that they can subsidize all of these people because it was just too much. It was too many people overcrowding the city of New York. Now imagine all the other sanctuary cities, right? Come to find out that in his own state, the Somalians were opening up daycares. were licensed to have children, in their centers, and the federal government is giving them millions and millions and millions of dollars every single year with no proof of children entering the center, no record of anything. They weren't actually housing the children. They probably did have the records. Let me just correct that. They probably did have it on paper that these kids were attending. But in reality, there was nobody attending every single day, Monday through Friday. I'm gonna play just a small clip of Nick Shirley from his X page and what the video kind of looks like. This is his reporting, some 20-year-old YouTuber on the internet. This could have been any one of us. So I'm going to play a little bit of it.
There's no volume.
Yeah, your volume's not working. Did you hear me, Ruby? Volume's not working.
Okay, so let me stop the screen. Oh, and just a quick announcement. I see Roy is backstage. If you're listening, your device is not connected. So hop off of StreamYard and try to come back on. You might have to create like a login for StreamYard if you don't have a login, and try again, because I see you backstage, but I can't bring you up on stage. Okay, so you see there, he's going to the centers. Oh, go ahead, Leonard.
Now, I just when you said a little bit ago, Ruby, that the whole busing situation about the illegals, my aunt and I was out doing some errands, and we saw on 2 different occasions 2 busloads of people coming in, and I was for sure that they were illegals.
What?
Wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, I did see somebody made a comment about Greg Abbott, busting illegals elsewhere. But what happened is the federal government was trying to get those illegals to stay in Texas. Because why? Because they want to flip Texas. So they were trying to flood Texas with illegals. And Greg Abbott said, no, we're sending them elsewhere. We're going to send them to Chicago. Ron DeSantis did the same thing. He bussed them out of Florida, sent them up to Washington, sent them up to New York. And before anybody gets upset about that, what did they do when they found out that there were illegals on Martha's Vineyard? What did they do? What did the media show everybody? They were, those people in Martha's Vineyard were all up in arms that they have these people in their community. And Johnny on the spot, there were buses there to go ahead and get them out of there. But that's not cool if DeSantis does it, or if Greg Abbott did it, or anybody wanted to get the illegals out of their state. It's a double standard.
Exactly. Okay, so Roy got back. Oh, sorry, Bo. I just wanted to say hi to Roy really quick. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, did you guys hear what the amount is right now? I mean, what they've gotten so far for the fraud? It's $9 billion.
Yeah, $9 billion, and it's going to skyrocket because there's more coming out about it.
Yeah, and that's just what they found out. Think about it, $9 billion, and what we've known this for like a week.
Yeah. We'll touch more on that. I'm going to piggyback off that, but let's give Roy a chance to say, hey. Hey, Roy.
Hey, Roy.
Hello. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Happy New Year, Roy.
Did you have anything? Yeah, did you want to share something before I show that clip again?
I was going to wait until the Venezuela thing.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that. What I want to piggyback on real quick, what Bo said about the $9 billion. there are estimated reports that could end up skyrocketing up to $100 billion.
That's
And,
what I heard.
and this is just in Minnesota. Wait till you hear about the fraud in California, Nevada, New York, and Illinois.
And Arizona.
And Arizona, yeah, and Arizona as well. So wait till you hear about that as well. Because these people, this deep state machine has, like we have in our intro, the deep state machine, they have invested billions and trillions of dollars into destroying the American way of life. This is what they've been doing. And unfortunately, there's so many people out there that just can't even see it. And they're actually defending their own oppressors and don't even know it. And that's why we do what we do, is to try, many other people do what they do, is because we're trying to get folks to see, hey, there's a bigger picture of stuff going on here. So, yeah.
Right. Okay, I'm going to try this one. Yeah, let me know if you hear it.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building.
Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud of Somalia, these fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the U.S. taxpayers' expense. And in this video, we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government.
Okay, so that's just a little clip. If you guys want to watch that, just go to his page on X, and it's a 40-minute documentary basically, and he's coming out with a part 2 that he says is even crazier than this, right? Well, come to find out that these Somalians are backing local politicians, like for mayor. There was some guy running for mayor, and they people on TikTok, like this is literal regular civilians are uncovering fraud better than our own government. So what's going on, Jimmy? Because to me, it seems like this is the job of the FBI or any other 3-lettered organization that I think should be abolished already. But what's going on? Can you explain that one for me?
I have my opinion on that. We already know that the media is bought and paid for. We already know that. So we know that they're not going to report anything like this that would shed a bad light on the deep state, the Democrats, the rhinos. They're not going to do that. Now, there's going to be eventually a time, and there's actually been a glimmer of hope over the last couple of days, to where some in the media are starting to say things that they wouldn't have said 2 or 3 years ago. Actually, it happened on The View. I think it was either today or yesterday. I can't remember what that black lady's name is, Sunny Hostin or whatever. But no, it was the Latina girl. I can't remember her name. But she talked about how she really liked what Trump did in Venezuela. But we'll get back to that. But anyway, I digress. So what's happening right now is you got people out there that, they may have went to journalism school. They may have realized, well, heck, I can't get a job with the mainstream media because they don't like my views. So I'm going to just go out and do my own thing. I'm going to go out and freelance. So that's what people are doing, is going out and using the skills that they went to college for to break these stories. And you're going to get more honest reporting from folks like Nick Shirley than you are going to get from the mainstream media. It's like when I went to J6 and I did my reporting that night. I debunked a lot of stuff that the media was putting on the TV that night. That very night, I was debunking their lies. And if you go back and look at the videos, people may have thought I was crazy at the time, but we told the truth, and so we didn't have to make anything up because we saw what happened. So Nick Shirley goes and does what he's done. He's done more exposing this than any mainstream media would do, because they're not going to do that because they're cover for the deep state. So they don't want the American people to hear about this stuff. So, and the ties that the money has to these terrorist groups overseas, that's also in line with what has happened in Venezuela. And we're going to bring that out too. So there's going to be a lot more comes out. I mean, we got Tim Walz now. He's saying he's not going to seek a re-election. He's stepping down.
Yeah.
So here's the question: did he step down on his own accord, or was there so much heat on Tim Walz now? The deep state knows they can't use him. He's damaged goods. So did they tell him to go ahead and get on out? Or did he know that there's going to be more exposed as far as the fraud, and he's getting out while the getting's good? So
I think they're removing him. They're going to remove him, and then they're going to either go with our California genius, or they're going to go with AOC. That's what I think they're going to do.
Oh, for the 2028 thing, yeah, it's going.
Because he's done for. He's going to fall. I really think he's going to be a fall guy. He's not very bright. It's ridiculous what he done. They went too far. Too many people are getting exposed. I think Omar is going to get actually kicked out of the U.S. Honestly,
I think she will.
Where did her money come from? She's $40,000 like in debt, and then now she's got worth $30 million on $150,000 salary. Like where did it come from? Well, obviously we know where the money came from.
Yeah,
they know all this stuff. It's not a genius to figure out where the money came from. These banks should have been flagging these people. Like it irritates me. If I had $30 million come into my bank account, I can guarantee you the FBI would be at my door within 24 hours.
Exactly. And that's how they treat American citizens. But people who come to this country can commit that type of fraud and nothing happens until some random YouTuber comes knocking on your door and literally single-handedly ends the career of a governor. That's just mind-blowing to me. That doesn't make sense in my brain. Like, that should be the job of the government, to tackle that type of fraud and that type of crimes. Why is it taking random citizens to do that? That's my problem too.
I agree. That list, I'm just speculating here, but I honestly think that those countries either are or in the process of becoming communist. And I noticed that communist countries, or countries that are run, obviously like Venezuela, the connections to Russia are you cannot deny them. And we're systematic. I really think a lot of this stuff is Russia, personally. It's Russia and China together. And the reason I say that is if you know Venezuela's history and you know how much money Russia put into them. Did you get the stuff I sent you by chance, Ruby?
Was it an email?
Yeah, those images. I was talking about how much Russia invested in Venezuela, the gold that they brought in there, and then the actual value. So I'll pull it up real quick. I don't know if you have it, but so $840 million in gold bars was in Venezuela from Russia, right? And then if the other one is they put $9 billion, Russia did, into investing into that country in 2010. And that's just what we know they were doing in 2010. So imagine, and we know that like they were sneaking like their rocket systems over right before we attacked them. And those rocket systems are way more advanced than the Chinese versions that they were using that failed, obviously. So I think that's one of the reasons why the US went there when they did, is because they were like, okay, they have Chinese garbage weapons right now. We can take care of that. When you start bringing Russian missile technology, you're doing a step above, right? Because honestly, like Russia's technology is, especially since they have been, fighting over in, the Ukraine, they've gotten way more advanced than what they were. And they've learned their weapons well just because of all the fighting, and they have decent anti-aircraft technology. That's why we can't get in there. So what I'm saying is that was going to become a stronghold, and it was going to become part of Russia, I think. I think Russia is trying to become the Soviet Union again. I think communism is trying to take over.
I think, and I wouldn't disagree with everything you said, but I'll just to give a little pushback though, because we got to remember that there are different factions. You have the deep state people, and you have the actual people of the country. Yeah. So, like here in America, we can say, "Oh, well, America's doing this to its citizen, this and to its." Well, which America? Deep state America or Republic of America? And the same thing over with Russia and China. You have your factions of people over there that want this new world order, that want Russia to go back to being the Soviet Union. They want China to be the new superpower of the world.
Never.
Those are the people that have been infiltrated those countries that are wanting this. So that's why I have to push back just a little bit, because Russia's always been an ally to the United States. It's historically proven that they've been an ally, and then you have Russia kicking out the deep state players, the globalist.
Can I? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can I ask something about this?
Yeah.
Russia has always been our ally, but we were in a Cold War for how long with Russia?
Okay, so minus the Cold War, but
I'm just saying, like we
yeah, we were, my bad. I stand corrected on that.
I just want to be historically accurate.
Yeah,
we fought them, and they were on the side of the Germans. The Germans turned on them. They attacked, joined us, and then the Cold War took place almost immediately after World War II. Like the Russians has never been our allies. I don't know.
Well, that's because the Bolsheviks and everything took over and turned Russia into Soviet. So before the Bolshevik Revolution and before the murder of the Tsar, Russia was our ally.
World War I, right?
What's that?
You're talking about like World War I?
Yeah, this is like right after World War I, because historically, if we go back, during the Civil War, Russia was on the side of America.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, I'm just saying from my perspective, from history, from World War II to now, I would not consider Russia our ally.
Okay.
I'm just saying from a historical perspective, I mean,
well, y'all
been having, do you know how many of their jets we've blown up, like over the Cold War?
Yeah.
I mean,
and again, if we go into the whole stuff that, the farther stuff that I believe right now, I think Putin is working with Trump. I really do. And I think a lot of the stuff that we're seeing is, what's the word I'm looking for? Smoke and mirrors to make it look like they're not working together. But something tells me, I've been saying that for a while. And there's also the theory, I'm just going to throw it out there, that the real Putin was already taken care of, and he's been replaced by the Putin we see today. I'm just saying.
I don't know anything about that.
I'm just saying.
So I think this is another great segue, so we could get into the Venezuela thing, because I really wanted to hear Roy's opinion about the whole situation, given that his wife is a citizen, if I'm not mistaken. So I do want to hear that angle.
Oh, it's his wife?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, by all means, take the floor. What do you say?
And basically, what ended up happening was there was unrest with the girl, but the information I've received from her and other people that I know.
Can we ask Roy to bring the microphone closer?
Roy, you're really muffled, brother. We can't really hear you.
It sounds muffled.
I really want to hear what he says.
Okay, try again, a little louder and a little bit more clearer. Go ahead.
Hold on, sir.
Yes, that's muffled. He might be having the same problem you had that one time, Bo.
Yeah.
But it looks like a mobile device, so it might be a phone case or something that's covering the mic.
I'm using headphones.
Okay, try again. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, much
Can
better.
you hear me better?
Yes.
Much
yeah.
better. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Can you hear me better?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead, Roy. Go ahead. You're good.
Okay, well, we got that here. He was sounding good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh no. Did it
Oh,
glitch?
I think Deep State don't want him to talk. I'm just saying.
Dang.
Right.
right as it gets clear, all of a sudden his communication is cut off.
His whole thing is glitched.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, I really wanted to hear what he had to say. Yeah, it's totally glitched up now. Oh, is he back?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Roy.
Yes?
Yes. Go ahead, talk.
Basically, I married my wife in Bogota, Colombia 5 years ago and bought a house over on the border of Colombia and Venezuela in Cucuta, where
Okay.
they've had a lot of about 40,000 people a day crossing that border.
Mm-hmm.
And with what's happened lately, they're expecting another major migration from Venezuela to Colombia. Basically, the situation is that Maduro was arrested and taken to New York, but the information I've received from people in Venezuela is that the regime from Hugo Chavez is still there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because Dulce Rodriguez was part of the Hugo Chavez regime.
Mm-hmm. Yes. This is one reason why. Roy, were you done for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. This is one of the reasons why you got the mainstream media out there trying to sell this as regime change, that Donald Trump wants regime change. This is not regime change, because just like Roy said, the current government that was there in Venezuela, you still have their people there. The vice president, the defense ministry, those guys are all, it's the same government that they've had. And how do we, and I'll get back to that in a second, but how do we know that this isn't a normal regime change? So let's look back in history. Let's look at Iraq and let's look at Libya. So you got George Bush and Obama, which we know are deep state players. We know that. So you've got the military being used as the military arm of the deep state, going into Iraq and basically obliterating everything and taking out the whole government and replacing that said government with their chosen puppet that they want to run that country. Same thing in Libya. You had the military go in, the military arm of the deep state go in, do what they did with Gaddafi, take out his whole government and replace it. That is regime change. What Trump did with this situation is not regime change. So, and if we look over in Iran, what did they say in the media when Trump went over and took out their nuclear capabilities? The media was telling everybody, hey, Trump wants regime change in Iran. Didn't we all hear that?
Yeah.
But did that happen? Did the same situation that happened in Iraq and Libya, did that happen in Iran? No. You got the Ayatollahs there still running the country, but what you're seeing right now is the people rising up, and they are rising up in a big way in Iran. And eventually, I think they're going to overwhelm the Iranian government, because folks have got to remember, you're in a country, you love that country, you fight for that country. So the Iranian people, they love Iran. They want to fight for their country and get rid of these deep state players. Same thing in Venezuela. That's what's going to happen. They did do it when they elected Edmundo Gonzalez, if I got his name correct. But because Maduro is a dictator, he said, "Nah, I'm just going to stay here." So, yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah, they're calling it the Don Rowe Doctrine, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. So, so first off, yeah, let's look at the media talking points. Regime change? No, it's not what the media was saying. So that's.
How about this one, Jimmy? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but JG says something interesting. He says this isn't regime change, but it's the rape of a foreign sovereignty, raping Venezuela of its natural resources, and the U.S. was not invited into Venezuela. How would you respond to that?
I would say, do you know the history? And I say that I might have something to play here. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find one. I can explain that, or I got somebody that can.
Hey everyone, I'm gonna go ahead and but I have enjoyed talking to you all. I'm gonna let somebody else come in and have a say so, but I have enjoyed myself.
Aw, thank you, Leonard, for joining.
Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me unplug my phone so I can turn it around. Okay, so this is a dude named Al Tazila. Let's see what he has to say. Make sure I got him going. Hit M, turn my volume up. Let's see what he has to say. Make sure I got him going. Whoa, that's the M, turn my volume up. Hold on. This is the first time I've been doing this on here. Daggone it. Shut up, Jimmy.
Jimmy's been replaced.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, y'all. Shut up, Jimmy. Let me go back to where I was at. All right. So, daggone it. All right. I apologize. Why is he not playing?
Oil.
There we go.
Okay. So let's talk about that. Venezuela has the largest oil reserves on Earth. Its reserves are 13% bigger than Saudi Arabia's. But not all oil is the same. Saudi oil is light and easy to refine. Venezuelan oil is extremely heavy, thick, difficult to process, and only certain refineries in the world can handle it. Oil was discovered in Venezuela in the 1920s, and the US was immediately involved. American oil companies literally built Venezuela's oil industry because the country didn't have the infrastructure or the technology to do so. At the time, Venezuela was a poor country with an agrarian economy. It was mostly coffee and cacao plantations. There were no petroleum engineers, no heavy machinery, zero knowledge on how to run a global oil industry. But by 1928, with lots of help from US oil companies, Venezuela was one of the world's top exporters. Overnight, Venezuela became one of the richest countries in the world. During the 1970s, Arab states imposed an oil embargo on the United States because of its support of Israel. This led global oil prices to explode, soaring from $1.80 a barrel to over $11 a barrel, a 500% increase. That crisis shook the entire world economy. That is, except for Venezuela, which suddenly saw billions of dollars worth of oil revenue entering its state coffers. And right after that, in 1975, Venezuela nationalized its oil industry and created PDVSA, Petróleos de Venezuela, or Venezuelan Petroleum, the state-owned company that still exists today. But even after the nationalization of its oil industry, Venezuela still needed the US. Why? Because the US Gulf Coast has huge refineries built specifically for heavy crude, the type of oil that sits under Venezuela. And this arrangement benefited both sides. Venezuela, a country roughly the size of Texas, doesn't have anywhere near the refining infrastructure needed to process hundreds of thousands of barrels of heavy crude oil per day. Venezuela's own refineries can only handle a fraction of what the country extracts, so US refineries processed it. Venezuela got billions in revenue, and American companies profited from their refining operations. Everyone had a reason to keep the partnership going. But without heavy crude, those US refineries struggle. They literally hunger for Venezuelan oil. Now, there's this big misconception that Hugo Chavez, the populist and self-proclaimed socialist president of Venezuela, who died in 2013, took back the industry from the US private interests that controlled it. But that's simply not true. Chavez became hostile to the US politically, yes, but he still depended on the US market. Venezuelan oil continued flowing to American refineries, and Chavez took advantage of the largest oil boom in history, gaining access to billions of dollars in oil revenue. What Chavez did do was purge PDVSA, the state oil company. He fired thousands of expert workers and replaced them with loyalists. Corruption exploded, production collapsed, and the economy imploded. When Chavez died in 2013, he handpicked this man, Nicolás Maduro, as his successor. Maduro inherited a country that was collapsing economically and made it worse, much worse. By 2017, 76 out of 84 PDVSA plants were paralyzed. Venezuela's oil production fell to 20% of its total capacity. Now, I can already hear you in the comments saying, that's because of sanctions. But no, not yet at least. Before 2019, US sanctions only targeted individual Venezuelan officials, human rights abusers, narco-traffickers, and corrupt elites. Venezuela was still completely free to sell its oil to the United States. And it did. The first oil sanctions only came in 2019, under Trump's first presidency. He basically imposed an embargo on PDVSA, the Venezuelan state oil company. Ironically, this hurt US companies too, because they lost access to the heavy crude their refineries are specifically built for. So why sanction PDVSA if American companies hated it? Well, because Maduro suspended elections and was consolidating a dictatorship in Venezuela. The sanctions weren't about oil, they were about politics. It was a move to support the political opposition in Venezuela, which had won an election that Nicolás Maduro refused to accept. So where does that leave us right now? 6 years later, Maduro is completely broke and running out of options. They rely on drug trafficking and illicit activities to survive. Maduro, more than Trump, funnily enough, desperately wants the US companies to reestablish their operations in Venezuela. 2 weeks ago, Maduro even offered Trump all of Venezuela's resources, including all the oil, and also to reduce economic ties with China and Russia if Trump would leave him alone. So if it was just about oil, Trump could have just accepted Maduro's offer, but he didn't. So no, it's not just about oil. Oil is just a piece of the story, but it's not the whole story. And you might be thinking, okay, Alex, but if it's not about oil, what is it about? Why is the US about to attack Venezuela? And if you did think that, thank you for asking, because I'll break that down in my next videos.
Okay.
Communists in America
So,
take to the streets in defense.
So what'd y'all think of that? I'd like to hear Rob's opinion or Roy's opinion.
It's right on. Because he brings up the 2019 election that Juan Guaido won, and then they won the Imando Gonzalez that won in 2024.
Okay. And so
then,
let's
yes,
go.
at one time Venezuela was the fourth richest country in the world.
Yeah, I remember growing up and back in the 80s. And of course, they had the Miss Universe things. And it seems like Miss Venezuela was always winning. And I remember back then how rich the country was. You know, Venezuelan was. I'm trying to plug this thing back in. It just won't go back in right now. Anyway, screw it. So now let's go back to that comment that triggered that video. What was that comment that person said, Ruby?
Yeah, JG, he says this isn't regime change, but it's the rape of a foreign sovereignty. You know, taking
So
their
my,
natural resources.
yeah, so as you can see, it's not something the United States, they have not ever taken the oil just for themselves. They had to deal with Venezuela. The Venezuelan oil is so thick, it's crude, it's hard to refine, and they did not have the capabilities to refine or build the infrastructure needed for that. So they had to have somebody else help them refine the oil. And that is the deal that was made between Venezuela and the United States. And in the end, it benefited, but like the guy said, it benefited both parties because now you have refining infrastructure booming in the Gulf Coast area of the United States. And in turn, Venezuela was making billions of dollars as well, becoming one of the wealthiest nations in the world. So
Right.
what happened? Why are they in the situation they're in now? And from what we know about Trump, is he trying to get Venezuela back to the way they were financially, economically, socially? This is just a start. This isn't over. So I don't think it's a rape for the country and its resources. And the thing, I'm sorry. And the other thing, the gold that Venezuela has, they have more gold in from what I'm hearing, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong or if they've heard something different. But from what I'm hearing, Venezuela has more gold than the whole African continent. That's what I've heard.
That's true.
All right, so it's true. And so if they've got that gold, what kind of deal could Trump get with that administration, or a new administration comes in because the people rise up like they're doing in Iran, change the administration, Trump strikes a deal with them, our gas prices fall, gold soars, and Venezuela becomes wealthy again. So everybody's preaching doom. Everybody's preaching doom and gloom, but there is positive stuff that could happen out of this. Roy, what do you think about my analysis on that?
It's correct. And then also the tourism part with Angel Falls and other major tourist sites there too.
Yeah, Angel Falls is what, like 10 times higher than Niagara Falls?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would love to visit Venezuela. I would love to. So,
wow.
Let me see what else. Let me see what else
And then
I got here.
And then the Catatumbo lightning deal where the Catatumbo River has the most lightning strikes anywhere in the world.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now let's pause there for a second. Ruby, what do you think about all that?
It's still processing because, I mean, this literally just happened this week. So I'm going to hold my thoughts until I can do a little bit more research.
That's fine.
But I do want to let Joseph, he's been waiting patiently, and Joseph has been very wise in the past. So Joseph, do you have any thoughts that you would like to add?
Yeah, I think Jimmy is right. Trump a regime going into Venezuela is two things. It's war on drugs, the drug.
You're cutting in and out, Joseph.
Here.
He was cutting in and out.
Yeah, it's very spotty. I don't know if it's just me. Okay, all right. Okay, much better. Try again.
Okay. Jimmy is correct. Trump is not changing the regime in Venezuela at all. As far as Trump going into Venezuela, it's only because of the drug cartels. He has designated drug cartels as terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is because he now has a corollary of the Monroe Doctrine that designated these terrorists, and because of the Monroe Doctrine, he has the right to police any country within the Western Hemisphere. And
Correct.
that also includes Canada and Greenland.
Correct.
And that's
Correct.
why I was saying the Russians are wanting to take that area to get influence in our hemisphere. And I think it was a proxy. The drug thing is a proxy to get the Russians out. That's what I was trying to say.
And China.
And China.
Oh, China. I mean, yeah, China too. But I mean, Russia is in that situation, that's the number one target, in my opinion.
Yeah, I got a little video. It says Venezuela, China, Russia, USA. We'll play this video in a second. But I'm gonna go back to so can we say that this whole thing with Venezuela is just about oil, like the media is saying?
No.
Not
It's not.
not only. It's I think it's a part of it, but look at what Fighter of Truth said.
Yeah, it's definitely a part of it, but it's not the only reason. The point I'm trying to make is the media is pushing that narrative that it's only about the oil.
Yeah.
Right. No, I don't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make.
But you must remember
Right.
that the oil business is an international business.
Mhm.
In the United States, most of our crude is heavy. We have tar sands that we have the refinery capabilities to refine many different products from oil. Now,
Yeah, Texas and Louisiana.
now, Venezuela needed this capabilities to have these refineries, and because of at one time Venezuela's wealth was so great, they even purchased Citgo Petroleum,
Mm-hmm.
and I may or may not today. I'm not sure. I haven't.
Yep, you went out on us. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're coming back.
Yeah, you're kind of freaking out.
Okay, all righty. Evidently, I'm a bad connection, but can you hear what I'm actually
Yes,
saying?
yes, continue.
Okay, the oil industry has, like I was saying, is an international business. We do business with all countries.
Mm-hmm.
We negotiate all different kind of deals, whether if they are hostile or friendly.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the world today runs off of petrodollars, and that's what drives the economy of the world. Petrodollars, and regardless of what country that we're dealing with, we dealt with Libya, which has reserves. We dealt even with Russia. We even have a partnership with the company I used to work with. They're in cahoots together with Russia in the oil business. So it's something that you can't just say that it's just basically blame it on oil. It's all economically tied together, and all countries are tied in with it.
Yep. And so there's also so since we've established it's not just about the oil and it's not regime change, the next thing that they said that it's only about the drugs. Well, it's not just about everything has its piece here. So It's a little bit about everything. And then you have the Smartmatic machines, which we're going to get into those as well. So
Yeah, those are very controversial because they were designed by computer engineers in Venezuela.
correct. And I got something to show that. What was I getting ready to say? Oh Lord, I just had my train of thought just go out the damn window. Crap. Maybe it'll come back.
And we had
Maybe it'll come.
another person join us. Rivers was on the stage. I was just about to go to you. If you're still watching, definitely come back on the stage, and you can give us your thoughts. But yeah, Jimmy, go ahead. What were you going to show us? You had another clip.
Yeah, I have another clip because we're going to go back into some other things about this. What's the chat? Anything in the chat that needs to be addressed at the moment?
Yes, JG has some interesting thoughts that I had to do it with my Twitter fingers while you were speaking. But JG is now preaching the America First, and I love it. I totally agree. America First, America Only. But that is the whole point of the Don Rowe Doctrine.
Yeah.
If it is in our hemisphere, we have the domain. We are the boss. We are the superpower. So if we are the ones handling issues or problems or anything, it shouldn't be anybody else except us. That's the only thing that I can totally agree with because of the Don Rowe Doctrine. And it doesn't just expire just because it's old or 200 years old. Like that is a I'm sorry, don't take offense, but it is a dumb argument because the Constitution is just as old or older, and we still follow the Constitution. So you cannot say that it doesn't just apply. No, it applies. Come on.
I think what we need to do, Ruby, I think we need to go ahead and play that clip I sent you on our DMs about the Monroe Doctrine, because there's a lot of people that don't even know what the Monroe Doctrine is. And so I think we need to play that clip for everybody.
Okay, so did you send it to me on X?
On our X DMs, I said this one needs to be played for history purposes.
For your anybody information,
Joseph was trying to
Say that
say
again,
something.
Joseph?
I had written an article on the Monroe Doctrine on X. If you could just scroll through my daily work that I do on X as a digital warrior, I have various things in there, and I have a couple on the Monroe Doctrine.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll have to find those.
Yeah, it's at.
Okay, so.
You got the clip, Ruby?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll check. We'll definitely check that out, Joseph. You can't send me.
I got it. So it's. Yeah.
It's what, Ruby?
Oh, but you're not on Facebook. Oh, so Joseph, you can share it on our face. If it's on Facebook, share it on the UPC page if you can. You could share it there. You should be able to if you have. Okay, guys, so we're gonna watch this clip now.
The Monroe Doctrine is an early cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy. It is steeped in ideas of dismantling colonialism and shifting global power dynamics in the 19th century. Its origins are simultaneously simple and complex. Let's start by meeting James Monroe. Before he became the 5th president of the United States, he fought and was wounded in the American Revolution, served in state and federal government, and held several diplomatic posts. Through it all, he believed firmly in the American experiment. And a doctrine is a principle or idea that influences a government's actions. Doctrines can become part of a country's foreign policy. The Monroe Doctrine began as part of an elaborate speech Monroe gave in 1823. So how did he get there? In 1812, the United States fought and won the Second War against the British. This win showed powerful European nations that America could defend and maintain its independence. But American independence was also tied to addressing the political volatility in its neighborhood. South of the United States, colonies in Latin America were fighting and winning their own independence from the Spanish Empire. Between 1821 and 1822 alone, 10 former colonies forged new nations. The United States couldn't afford to take a wait-and-see attitude. Could these new Latin American countries keep Europeans from recolonizing them? Somebody had to say something. But would anything the US president had to say really make a difference? It's tricky. Monroe recognized the need to support Latin American independence, but at this point, the United States was not a global superpower. Its economy and military were no match for the Europeans. Enter the greatest naval power in the world, Great Britain. Great Britain wanted to trade with the new Latin American nations and was also keeping an eye on the competition from mainland Europe. They knew firsthand that empires are expensive to maintain. The British were not interested in any recolonization schemes, but they worried about others and even offered to make a joint statement with the Americans, warning Europeans to stay away from the Western Hemisphere. Monroe and his advisors knew that Great Britain would provide the naval might to back up a statement. The offer to issue a joint statement was very tempting. But would a joint statement make the United States look weak? Some of Monroe's advisors did not think so. They argued that teaming up with the British was how the United States could be taken seriously by the other European powers. But Secretary of State John Quincy Adams disagreed. Like Monroe, he remembered America's hard-fought victories against the British. Adams told the president that riding on the coattails of the British was no way to establish dominance in its own neighborhood. Adams also saw this as an opportunity to reaffirm America's strong, independent foreign policy. Wise leaders consider all points of view before making a decision. Ultimately, Monroe agreed with his Secretary of State. In a speech to Congress on December 2, 1823, he made the United States' position clear. Monroe declared the Western Hemisphere closed to future colonization. He also reminded the Europeans that any interference in the Americas would be considered a hostile act against the United States. In effect, this bound the security and economic interests of the United States with that of the new Latin American nations. But what Monroe did not say in his speech was just as important. He did not lay out a plan of action should the Europeans ignore the warning, because when in reality, there wouldn't be much the United States could do. However, the presence of American diplomats throughout Latin America did help forge new alliances. Diplomats built relationships with Latin Americans and provided valuable intelligence back to Washington regarding European ambitions in the region. As it turns out, while both the United States and European nations did eventually interfere in the affairs of independent Latin American nations, it would be America that cast its imperial arm over the Western Hemisphere at the dawn of the 20th century. Though there was one significant difference from Monroe's time, there would be no question the United States could now back up its words with military and commercial might.
So a couple of points to that. Key moments of the enforcement of the Monroe Doctrine. 1865, the U.S. used diplomatic and military pressure to force France to withdraw from Mexico. 1895, President Cleveland invoked it to intervene in a border dispute between Britain and Venezuela. 1904, President Theodore Roosevelt expanded the doctrine to justify U.S. intervention in Latin American internal affairs to maintain stability. And in 1962, President Kennedy invoked its principles during the Cuban Missile Crisis to demand the removal of Soviet missiles. And 2025, 2026, under the Trump-Monroe Doctrine, the U.S. has recently reasserted these principles to justify actions in Venezuela. So, historically, with what Trump just did, is nothing new. Nope. It's been done before. And the Monroe Doctrine backs it up. Any thoughts, everybody?
Adams is a genius.
Oh, yeah. You know, when I was watching that again, I was thinking, when they showed the guys in the sunglasses together, the only thing I could think of
was Secretary of State at the time, and he was the architect of it.
Yes. But the only thing that I could think of was the Rothschild banking system wanting to infiltrate the United States. It came out of Britain because that's the money arm of the deep state. They wanted to infiltrate the United States, and they were also going to try to do it with the Latin countries. And this is when Monroe and John Adams said, no, we don't need to be riding on the coattails of the British because they already knew what these people were trying to do. And then when it came back, you know, after 1913 and everything changed, then that's when the deep state finally got their hooks. And that's when they started peddling in the Latin American countries. So, yeah, there's that.
And they got to us too. It's safe to say they got into America.
Oh, well, 100%. They got here in 1871. So, well, a little bit before that. But now there's another video. Let's see, what's the comment section saying about that video? Because I got another one I want to play.
The only comment that came through about now was King of Dots. He says, we don't want what happened to Russia to happen to us, surrounded by NATO or China.
I agree.
The new Canadian Prime Minister was the head of the Bank of England, Glenn Beck.
Well, that's a good sign.
What was that?
King of Dots said the new Canadian Prime Minister was the head of the Bank of England, Glenn Beck.
Yeah, Glenn Beck said that. Yeah. So, yeah, there's still, like we said, you know, we're at war. You know, this is the information war. But the deep state's trying to make it go kinetic. They're trying to make it, you know, go kinetic and push their World War III narrative. But these deep state players, they're not just going to roll over and be like, oh, you got us. They're going to fight to the end. So we've got to have that same spirit to fight to the end. But let me play this because this goes in another, and there's a couple of other areas on this we want to look at. So let me go here. Get this
After you play yours, I did find one X too that I wanna share that kind of how Trump is 4D chess, basically. And I've heard that phrase so many times. I think it's corny by now, but go ahead and play yours first.
Yeah, I got this one, and then we want to touch on the Smartmatic machines too, because all of this, what we're trying to do is do what the media is not doing. The media is just trying to tell you oil. We're trying to give you every aspect of this, trying the best we can. So let's listen to this one.
Okay, go ahead.
If Russia and China do nothing in response to the U.S. military intervention in Venezuela, the message isn't just sent to the United States, it's sent to everyone else. Because alliances are not about friendships or ideology, they are about one thing only: protection. If a country aligns itself with China or Russia, the implicit promise is deterrence. That if a major power intervenes against you, you're not alone. So if Venezuela is hit openly and nothing happens in response, every allied or semi-aligned country is watching. And the message becomes very simple. Alignment with China or Russia does not guarantee protection against the United States. And that matters far beyond Venezuela. Countries in Africa, Latin America, the Middle East, and Central Asia don't choose sides based on switches. They choose based on outcomes. They ask, if pressure comes, who actually shows up? Who can stop it? Who can impose costs? If the answer looks like no, like no one, then the alliance loses credibility. And credibility is everything. This is why the response from China and Russia doesn't have to be military to matter, but it does have to be visible and costly in some way. Because silence is interpreted as weakness, not strength. And once allies start doubting protection, they hedge. They diversify partnerships. They soften positions. They comply quietly with pressure, or they realign entirely. That's how influence collapses. Not in a single confrontation, but in a slow loss of trust. So Venezuela isn't just about oil or regime change. It's also a test case. Not only for the US power, but for whether China and Russia can credibly protect their partners in a world where precedent is being shattered openly. And if they don't respond in any meaningful way, the damage isn't symbolic, it's structural. Because once allies stop believing protection exists, they stop acting like allies at all. Isn't that?
Okay.
Yep.
Bo, you want to comment on that one?
Yeah. So Venezuela has been giving oil to Russia. We all know this, back and forth. And when they were sanctioning Russia, Russia was like, whatever. Venezuela is sending us our oil. We're good to go. We're going to keep on attacking. We don't got no problem. We don't have to care.
Mm-hmm.
This is so important that we did this. Okay. We showed that the Russians, I mean, obviously the opinion about Russian military has gone drastically down since the war. I mean, their equipment has been shown to not be as good as they claimed it is. And now we're seeing that their proxy got taken down by us and they can't do anything about it. We have removed the Russians, we haven't fully removed them, but we've removed a large portion of Russian influence out of our hemisphere. And we've shown them that, hey, here's the deal. Russia is going to say a bunch of stuff, but they can't back it up. Their military we've seen that their military, they claimed that they could take us and they can take NATO and they have nothing to worry about. They're using NATO weapons there in Ukraine, and honestly, I know they're losing, but the fact that they've killed 1 million of their soldiers and they've destroyed 80% of like their top tier tanks, and then their reserves are running out. Russia's military has been crippled. Yes, I'm not going to say they're going to lose. I mean, let's just be honest. It's attrition battle, but just looking at the tank structure of Russia, we have satellite images watching and seeing. We know that Russia's tanks. There's a formula that they've been doing and tracking with all our videos, and because everything's drone warfare, we know that a Russian tank survival rate is 76% as soon as it enters that battlefield. 76% of their tanks are being destroyed, and this is the newer generations too. Our tanks are in the 20 and 30 range. So it shows you that our tech is so much better and it's being used by Ukraine that doesn't know how to use it and doesn't have the infrastructure that we do.
Right. Yeah. And what's going to happen is if with Russia not getting this oil that's coming from Venezuela.
So that's why we're there, huh?
There's many different reasons. There's
no one reason.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the point we're trying to make about this. But it's going to like Bo said, it's going to cripple the Russian ability because they're not getting that oil in, which could eventually cause Putin to come to the table and work out a peace deal with Ukraine. So that's another little play here. Now here's another one because
and the Chinese were actually in Venezuela when this all went down. That was hilarious.
Well, yeah, they were there. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, they were there for 2 weeks before this all happened. There's more to that too. What am I looking for?
Can I say a little bit more about that, or is it?
Yes.
Move on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So you guys heard me in my little spew when I was talking about Chinese weaponry. Okay. So Chinese weaponry and Chinese technology, the chips that they're using are nowhere near the level of chips that we have. But Chinese are claiming that their technology is vital and and can stop anti-American, all that stuff. That's why like all the deep state players, they're getting money from China. China's doing and financing them. But here's the thing. Venezuela was using Chinese weaponry, okay? And then they know for a fact that it's not as good. And then Russia started right before we invaded them. There was 4 cargo jets or cargo planes that made it there and dropped off some big material, like some powerful weapons. And then we hit them like a week later. So that tells me that they did 2 things. No, they shut down the Russians, and then they also showed by our we attacked them with helicopters. Now I don't know how much you guys. I mean, Jimmy, you're in the military, right?
Yeah, my dad was in the military.
Okay, so you don't normally attack ground targets like that with helicopters. Usually, you're going to get shot down and blown up. Now, what happened with our helicopters? There were only 2 of them that got damaged. They're using anti-missile technology, like jamming technology that nobody's seen before and that nobody knew what it was. And we were showing how effective it was. And that's why we were able to obliterate the targets with helicopters and not jets and do what we did. That is huge. So no other power has ever been able to. You don't use helicopters. They've actually talked about getting rid of helicopters because of what's going on in the Ukraine. But
Oh, really?
now we have tech that's coming out that's going with helicopters. Helicopters are still viable now on
Oh, yeah.
our side.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Another thing about the whole incident happening, the lights, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong or validate if they've heard the
Yeah,
same
they
thing.
turned off the power. They hacked the system right
Yeah,
before
they
they did
turned
the
it off.
attack so that
They
they
turned it
couldn't
off.
communicate to one another. Yeah, that's
Now,
true.
That's
here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. If you look at the battle of Iraq and Libya, there was a lot of gunfire coming from the opposition, right? Tons of gunfire. There was no gunfire coming from the Venezuelan army at all.
Yeah.
And
You think they knew about
here's the thing. Okay, guess who was involved with Maduro's inner circle? Anybody want to take a wild guess?
I don't know. I have
no
no idea.
clue. I don't know.
All right. The Cuban government is now all but telling you what's actually going on with the U.S. removal of Maduro by issuing a statement of solidarity for the 32 Cubans killed in combat operations defending Nicolas Maduro. Why were Cuban militants engaged at the highest levels of the Venezuelan government in combat operations surrounding the president of Venezuela? Why would Cuban militants incubated in the post-Castro intel community, hellhole of Cuba, be allowed into the inner circle of another Latin American head of state, deeply enough that they are killed in the crossfire when said HOS is under active assault? Who is the Cuban mafia? What is the relationship between the Cuban mafia, the CIA, and Russian defense and energy contractors? What is the relationship between the Cuban mafia, the Beijing Secret Intelligence Service, and the Chinese military? Possible that Cuba is forward deployed operating base for deep state activities across Latin American governments. There is a reason President Trump is reasserting the Monroe Doctrine, and it's not so he can conquer new territory for the American empire. It is so he can secure the Western Hemisphere and world peace by extension. Trust your president.
He's cutting out. He's cutting the Dems' money supply. I mean, we talked about this, and we talked about how he was going to go to the cartels, like what? Yeah, first season, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, that stuff that we said is happening. Like we said that they were going to do X, this, and this, and then they're going to hit the cartels. And people were like, "Oh yeah, you guys don't know what you're talking about." Well, look at what's happening right now. What did we just do? We just threatened the cartels in Mexico and told them to shut up.
Here's another one. There was a Q post that was put out on the date that this thing went down a couple of years ago. I think it's post number 40, but it only said 7/10 on the date that it happened to be when Maduro got snapped. 7 out of 10. So what we're thinking is that's 7 countries out of 10 countries. So there might be 3 more left. Well, which ones could they be?
Cuba,
Colombia, Cuba, and Greenland, because they are all matters of national/world security. Why is Russia essentially quiet about Venezuela and Cuba? Why aren't they saying anything right now?
they're not. That's not true. They are all talking about how inappropriate, and their media is talking about how we're war criminals and we're violent, and the media is all about how evil the United States is and how we're
and how you kidnapped Maduro.
Oh yeah, they're not being quiet at all. Their media is absolutely at an uproar talking about how we're taking a
All right,
sovereign
so
country.
maybe that started happening after this, because this was put out January 5th. This was put out yesterday, early in the morning. So I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. I'm not saying it's not happening. So maybe they ramped it up. Why are the Danes plus NATO having a veritable milk cow over potential U.S. annexation of Greenland? Why is China essentially quiet about all of the above? Moves and counter moves. So, so to show this part of the thing is that it goes way deeper than what anybody in the media is going to talk about.
Can you talk a little bit more about the Greenland part? I don't know a whole lot about how that falls into
Okay, so from what I understand, is you've got the shipping lanes and everything up there around Greenland that Russia is taking advantage of, and China's also taking advantage of. And Trump wants control over those shipping lanes, and it's connected to Greenland. So he wants that control over those shipping lanes. That way, because Greenland's in the Western Hemisphere, it kicks out their influence from the Western Hemisphere.
Okay.
That's what my
And
understanding
quick
is.
question. Okay, sorry. Quick question. So was that question answered? Why was Cuba there, or am I missing that part? So why was Cuban
Because
people, or
because
what's the connection?
so you're going to find out that, like it said in there, that Cuba has been an operating base for these narco terrorists, for these deep state players, and they've been branching out into other Latin American countries.
Okay.
Roy, would you say that's fair?
Yeah, it's particularly Colombia and Mexico. Colombia for the cocaine and Mexico for the fentanyl.
Yeah. And you've got Colombia. The Colombian president came out yesterday and gave a fiery speech, basically bucking up to Trump. So kind of what Maduro did before Maduro got snatched.
He's next.
If that happens, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna have a cigar.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get myself a Cuban.
But I will say this: that there's a lot of people now. So we've already dispelled. It's not just regime change. It's not just about oil. That there is deeper political aspects to this. Now let's talk about legality. They say that Trump had no right to go in and do this.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what Jay was saying in the chat too. So let's talk about that.
So
I think the doctrine alone would kind of throw that argument out the window, but I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Yes. So let me go to my information. Is that the one I want to do? No, I'm going to go to my X feed. I'm sorry.
I hope it shows the Barack Obama bomb thing. I really hope it does.
Well, we've talked about that before. I had two here.
And Jay, I'm sorry. No, he is not a political prisoner. He was not kidnapped. He was arrested, and there is a difference.
Yes. And I'm getting ready to prove that to all of you guys here in a second. I want to go here. What's the one I had? Oh, I had it here. Smartmatic, Chuck Schumer, election fraud, lefties losing it. Chuck Schumer. Hang on. Sorry, guys.
So this was all planned 4 months in advance, which is interesting if you think about that. So they knew they were going to do this 4 months ago. They're like, yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, because they actually built a model of the building that he was in. Yeah. So the military practiced on that.
I like that. That's what I want to see from my government. And I want to see that domestically. I love that we're doing this overseas. I love that. But I want to see that same eradication of corruption and swift and like overnight. You know, I want to wake up to celebrating in the streets when all of our treasonous politicians are arrested. I love that. And I want to go on the way those Venezuelans, they were going on all social media platforms and they were crying tears of joy. I want that with the corruption of my own government. That's the small disconnect that I have with this whole situation, is that I can't wait for them to do it domestically.
Yeah, and I got a video for that.
It's happening.
Yeah, I do. All right, so people forget. All right, back in 2015, Venezuela's dictator lost it when Barack Obama officially labeled Venezuela a national security threat to the United States. Not one Democrat objected, not a peep. Fast forward to now, those very same Democrats are suddenly outraged because a narco terrorist with American blood on his hands is finally being held accountable. Let that sink in. Same regime, same threat, different excuses. And in an executive order, Obama indicted Maduro. There was an indictment from the Obama administration. Somebody, fact check it right now. All right. So they doubled down on that when Biden got in office, because Biden, there was a 20, I think if I'm
It's 25
correct,
million.
yeah, Biden upped it to 25. I think Obama had it at 10 or 15 million, but then Biden upped it to 25 million. Now, why in the world? So they're telling you, hey, we even indicted this guy. This guy is wanted by the U.S. government, and we have a $25 million bounty on his head. So there's like feedback. I don't know who's got me on the thing, but there's feedback. I can hear me.
Yeah, Joseph. You have some feedback in the background. I think you're playing on another device, and we can hear it.
So listen.
Okay.
So listen real quick to what. Okay, this is what Chuck Schumer said in 2019. So let me get to this.
Democracy to Venezuela. He brags about all these things he wants to do or is doing, but his actions belie his words. Maybe the best metaphor was his claim to bring democracy to Venezuela. There was a big policy there. It flopped. If the policy was working, Juan Guaido wouldn't be in the balcony here. He'd be in Venezuela. He'd be sitting in the president's palace, or at least waging a fight to win. He's here. And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break. He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began. So what can the Congress do about it is the next question. Well, the next question is very simple. And that is that we have the War Powers Act. That's a privilege resolution, which means the Republicans can't block it. Tim Kaine and I and Rand Paul are sponsors of it. It's going to come to the floor this week. And if it is voted for, if it's voted positively in both houses, then the president can't do another thing in Venezuela without the okay of Congress. We have to pass it. Hear President Trump say that he intends for the United States to run Venezuela. It was reckless. It was dangerous. And looking at the president's demeanor, he didn't even seem to be aware of how dangerous and reckless it is. Let me be clear. Maduro is an illegitimate dictator, but launching military action without congressional authorization, without a credible plan for what comes next is reckless. Now, I was in this skiff on 3 different occasions, as recently as December. And I asked the administration, I asked them, are you pursuing regime change? Are you intent on taking military action in Venezuela, Venezuelan territory? And they assured me that they were not pursuing those things. Clearly, they're not being straight with the American people. So I've been talking to so many members.
So anyway, so that just goes to show right there that even Chuck Schumer back in 29 was criticizing Trump, saying, "Oh, you're not doing enough to get rid of the Maduro regime." So there's like math feedback. I don't know who's got the math feedback. So
I'm gonna mute Joseph just until you're ready to talk, Joseph. Then unmute yourself. But I'm gonna mute you for now, just to let Jimmy finish. Go ahead, Jimmy.
So we have Barack Obama put out an executive order calling Maduro, calling for he's been indicted. He needs to be arrested. Then they put a bounty on his head. Then they go ahead and put another bounty on his head. But when when Trump actually goes in and serves the warrant or the arrest, he actually does what Obama and Biden were saying needed to be done. The left fucking loses its mind because they forget about this. They forget about this stuff. So to say that Trump couldn't do this, well, did you say that to the Democrats back when Biden and Obama were saying that this needed to be done? The thing is the deep state, this whole thing about him being arrested, They never thought it would happen. It was all smoke and mirrors. They just put it out there because in the back, hey, Maduro, this is what we need you to do. We're going to put a bounty. We're going to put a bounty on your head. Okay. But it's all going to be just for looks and for public opinion. All right. But we're still going to work with you under the table and get you this money. It's going to come out of Cuba and probably Colombia as well. But we're going to keep feeding you this money so you keep sending drugs into the United States to destroy the Americans. And you can also have a refugee crisis because you're this evil dictator. And we can move all those migrants into the United States and destabilize the American culture.
Didn't George Soros pay for lots of people from Venezuela to come up when the border was open through Mexico?
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, and talk about, I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant here, but the War Powers Act and everything. Oh, Lord, I just lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Sorry, it was my fault. Mexico, George Soros.
Oh, they were talking about that Trump needed congressional approval to do this. No, he didn't. One, he's got the Monroe Doctrine. Two, there was a arrest warrant out for the guy. And three, how many bombs did Obama drop on so many different nations while he was in office? Did the Democrats and liberals say anything about that? He never got congressional approval to drop 26,000 bombs on 9 different countries, killing American citizens.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Break.
Invading Libya.
Yeah. Welcome, Jesse and Dallas. Really quickly, I want to play that clip, another clip that is just going to help us understand this a little bit more. And then I want to hear what Jesse, if you have any thoughts that you want to share. Or Dallas, whoever wants to come up.
After capturing Nicolas Maduro and transporting him to a U.S. federal prison to face charges, Trump announced the U.S. will run the country until a safe transition is possible. But what if the U.S. never leaves? The Petro reset breaks OPEC's global price monopoly. By seizing Venezuela's 300 billion barrels of oil, the world's largest reserves, the U.S. crashes gas prices to a historic $1 at the pump. This logistics miracle slashes shipping costs by 70%, cutting the price of groceries and goods by 30% overnight. Inflation vanishes as the energy tax is deleted, triggering a surge in domestic manufacturing. The currency collapse is solved by replacing the bolivar with the US dollar, stabilizing costs while zeroing savings. As a migration reverse brings 7.7 million refugees back to rebuild $400 billion in decaying infrastructure. The Southern Command expansion dismantles gangs and rebels, cutting crime by 90% as Venezuela becomes a de facto 51st state. This superpower pivot evicts Russia and China, freezing $60 billion in debt and granting the U.S. total military and economic hegemony over South America.
How do you like that interesting idea?
I wish it would be true. I hope it is true.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Jeffrey?
I just wanted to say that in Venezuela, freedom is contagious. Libertad is contagious. And I think it was it? I could be wrong, but I thought it was George Washington who said that the crop of liberty, when watered well, is a crop of rapid growth. And I think what happens is when you take the cream, you take the top off the cream, all you're left is water. You whip it, you take the top, all you left is water. And that's what happens in communist countries. When you kill all the liberty lovers, all the patriots, all you get is water. And it's very hard. It needs a jump start. There has to be. And I think in Venezuela and Cuba, all the men of valor, all the men of backbone, all the men of freedom have been killed or suppressed or destroyed or what. So it needed a jump start. And I think that's what we're seeing here. And there's a little bit of evidence to it where you see the protesting in Miami and LA and New York, but celebration on the streets of Caracas.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. We've got a couple of clips on that. I want to come back to that, Jesse, but I want to cover the other aspect of this. If you didn't think the whole regime, the oil, the geopolitical part, him actually being a wanted fugitive for drug trafficking. If you didn't think that was enough, here's another piece to this puzzle. So let me turn this around and start this. And let me turn this up.
Venezuela received a small business loan from the bank. Antonio Mujica and his partner Alfredo Anzola received a small business loan from the Venezuelan government only months before the recent election. These corporate registration documents from Venezuela show the Venezuelan government owned 28% of the stock of another company they started, Vista, which adapted the software for the Smartmatic machines in the 2004 elections. The same document shows a Chavez government minister, Omar Montillo, was on the board of directors. The Chavez government gave Vista, Smartmatic, and another company a $91 million contract to run voting machines for the 2004 election. The next year, the owners of Smartmatic, primarily owned by Venezuelan businessmen, bought Sequoia, one of the top electronic voting system companies in the United States, for $16 million. Smartmatic is a labyrinth of international holding companies owned by Venezuelan businessmen. Smartmatic Group NV of Curaçao, Netherlands, and Antilles owns Smartmatic International BV of Amsterdam, Netherlands, owns Smartmatic Corporation of Florida, which bought Sequoia Voting Systems of California, USA. When Smartmatic bought the U.S. voting machine companies, the U.S. government did not review the sale. Many experts say those voting machines were manipulated in Venezuela to give President Hugo Chavez a victory. Exit polls done by the U.S. firm Penshon in Berlin had Chavez losing 41% to 59%. But the next day, Chavez declared victory, reversing the score, saying he won 59% of the vote.
The machine was computed in favor of the government. So the other explanation is that the Smartmatic machines have been programmed in that way.
A Harvard mathematician crunched the numbers on the Venezuelan election.
It had to be the Smartmatic system. All these machines talk to a central computer and report on their results. And in that mechanism, as they communicate with the central machine can report anything.
Smartmatic is technically based in Boca Raton, Florida, but the president of the company, Jack Blaine, testified to the Chicago City Council. Fewer than a dozen Smartmatic employees work in Florida. The majority of the workers are based in Venezuela.
So there's the other aspect of this, the Smartmatic machines, and what machines were used in the 2020 election.
Yup. I lost friends over this thing. So not to like say too much, but I work in similar machinery, and so I was telling people that the things they were saying were bullshit.
Yep.
About how the machines operate. I was like, there's a back door. I know there's a back door. All machines like that go to a centralized company like that, they have a back door for like, updates and firewalls and everything else. And they were all like, oh no. And that's why I knew for a fact that the election was stolen, is the way they started describing the machines and saying, I was like, I work on these things. Like not those machines, but something similar. And I'm like, I know you're lying. I'm positive you're lying. And then I watched an actual like detective that specializes in cybercrime talk about those machines. And then I watched someone, and I put this on my old channel that got taken down by bad people. And I showed that those machines, there were multiple ways you could tamper those particular machines. They're very easy. And then they even had videos of people going in there and using USBs to pull in there to change stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Bo, you're from Arizona, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, you explain vividly, electronically what you saw in Arizona. I'm from the south of Arizona, in the south side.
Okay.
So what I saw in Arizona is this. We're from the Geronimo state. We're from Barry Goldwater state. We're from Joe Arpaio state. We are from the men, even John McCain, and we're from a very conservative state.
Please don't put John McCain in that list.
I know, but he was an R. I know, Jimmy. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
But you know my point. And then we get Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallegos. No, they're Tucson. Tucson is not Arizona. Tucson is California. Yeah. Arizona is a very conservative state. It's the only way they could have taken our state is the way you explained it. the way
Yeah.
Bo explained it.
I gotta throw something in here for you guys. So when that went down, you guys, what's her name? The woman that was running against her, I forgot.
Kirsten Cinema,
The
No.
governor. This is the
Carrie
governor
Lake?
race.
Carrie Lake.
Yeah, Carrie Lakes. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
why I
Carrie
forgot her. But anyways, so Carrie Lakes, they went to the person that was the opposed Democrat candidate, and there was a wall, right? And they were talking, doing their little thing, and there was a map that was showing sectors that nobody knew what it was. When they went to the machines that went down, it was a map that was identical and laid over.
Hmm. Wow.
And
My
they
little
brought
brother
that into
Gilbert.
court, right? And people testified that. And then I can tell you from when I was working with not that election, but another candidate was doing an election for U.S. Senate, and I was involved in. We had people come through that were on the Democrat side counting, and they said that they were committing fraud, and we were going to go to court with it. But right as we were going to court, they backed down because they were afraid that they'd get killed.
Yeah. Gilbert's
So-
machine.
Yeah,
Gilbert's
the fraud here during that, I mean, it was the most. I mean, if anyone had seen any of the stuff that was going on with Carrie Lake, I have never in my life seen anything that was so obliviously obvious that it was stolen. There's no way that the person who won.
Carrie Lake won twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. January 3rd, CIA whistleblower confirmed that Venezuela was involved in election theft in the United States and several other Western nations. Trump just posted this video about the Dominion voting machine fraud. You think the timing is coincidence? A Venezuelan military intelligence whistleblower confirmed the CIA outsourced election rigging technology like Smartmatic and Dominion from Venezuela. So now you have this aspect of the whole thing about the voting machines. So is it possible? All right, now we get to the conspiracy part. Is it possible?
You want me to play my mid-roll, Jimmy?
No, because it's going to be very short. It's going to be very short. Okay. Is it possible that Maduro knew about all this stuff and decided, hey, maybe I need to play ball with Daddy Trump, and allowed himself to exit the stage into the United States and have all this set off the way it is? Because hold on 1 second. Because the only reason I say that is because when he was arrested, and there's pictures of him giving thumbs ups and Happy New Year, and he changed there was 4 different outfits in 17 hours. Does anybody change their outfit 4 times in 17 hours if they just got arrested? Probably not.
P. Diddy.
So was this done before then what happened the other night? Was the other night just a stage? Was it just a show?
Well, I'd like to answer that. Could it be this way, Jimmy? Could it be that the Cubans were not his protectors, but were his jailers?
Good point. Good point.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, they could have been his handlers. And he was like, hey, Trump, come get me. I mean, he actually asked Trump to come get him in the speech, didn't he? He said, come get me. This is where I'm going to be at.
and there's some circumstantial evidence to it. At the beginning of Trump's administration, he was squealing like a canary. He was saying, Biden told me to send them over. Remember, sometime in January when Trump was inaugurated, Maduro was telling everybody, hey, Biden told me to send them over.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot more we could talk about this stuff, but it is 11/11. We may pick up on it next week and add some more things to it. But I think my biggest thing that I wanted to do tonight was completely obliterate the mainstream media narrative. And I think we've accomplished that.
Yeah, and I think you did a really good job. Yeah, definitely did a great job of that. We discussed a lot. And I do have one last clip from a American Venezuelan that made a video about everything.
And then
it's
when you
about
do that,
5 minutes.
That was about 5 minutes. Then I got one last one that I think you'll appreciate, and we'll end the show on that because I think you'll appreciate it very good because it's something you said earlier in the show. So
Okay, so I'll play this clip and then we'll go to Gail and then we'll go to your last clip.
Okay.
Okay. As a Venezuelan American, I got some shit to say. My family, my parents, my sister, my extended family, all lost everything. Their work, their savings, their investments, gone. Wiped out by a narco dictatorship that has held Venezuela in a death grip for over 25 years. And what happened to my family has happened to millions, and yes, millions. The Venezuelan exodus is the second largest displacement crisis on earth after Syria. This is not just a tragedy. It is one of the great humanitarian disasters of our time. But the suffering doesn't end there. This regime has jailed hundreds of political prisoners. Thousands have been murdered simply for speaking out. More than a third of the population has fled. 1/3. Not for better opportunities or for the American dream, but to survive, to live, because staying often means death. And while the world may see Venezuela as a collapsed state, what it is in reality is an occupied one. Our territory, our natural resources, and our institutions have been overrun by hostile foreign powers. Iranian militias, Chinese corporations, Russian intelligence, all exploiting our country with impunity. Venezuela is no longer just a local crisis. It is now a geopolitical threat that endangers the entire Western Hemisphere. It has become a launch pad for an authoritarian expansion in the Americas. And in the midst of all of this, one woman has dared to lead the charge for freedom. Maria Corina Machado. In 2024, against every odd, she led a peaceful democratic uprising that won the election. Her team smuggled physical voting receipts out of the country, hard proof of victory that the regime tried to bury. Her courage has lit a fire in the hearts of millions of Venezuelans desperate to believe that change is still possible. But now some have questioned her decision to dedicate her Nobel Prize to Donald Trump. Okay, I get that. But here's the truth. It was a brilliant strategic move in the global chessboard of politics. Maria Corina is no fool. She knows exactly the kind of man Trump is. She knows how much he campaigned for it, loudly and relentlessly, to win that very same prize. She knows how symbolic and personal that recognition is to him. And precisely because of that, she understood that this gesture might be the thing that keeps his attention focused on Venezuela at a time when US presence and pressure in the Caribbean is rising. She didn't dedicate that award to flatter him. She did it to protect and preserve the one kind of power that could help shift the course of history. Because for her, this isn't about pride. It's not about optics. It's about freedom. And let's be very clear. Maria Corina is not asking for the US to invade Venezuela. She's not campaigning for war. Venezuela is already invaded. It is held hostage by a narco state, overrun by foreign agents and enemies of democracy, Russians, Iranians, Chinese, all operating freely, weaponizing our land and resources to expand their influence across Latin America. What Maria Corina is calling for, what millions of Venezuelans are praying for, is the support of the only military on earth capable of countering that threat and helping to free our people. This is not imperialism. This is liberation. She's not playing partisan games. She's playing for Venezuela's life. Because this isn't theoretical, this isn't academic. This is life or death. So yes, it is time to honor her bravery, but more importantly, it is time for the world, especially the free world, to recognize what's at stake. The fight for Venezuela is a fight for freedom, democracy, and for the stability of an entire continent. If we truly care about liberty, human dignity, and peace in the Americas, then Venezuela's fight must matter to all of us. Que viva Venezuela, que viva María Corina Machado.
With that
All
said,
right. So
with
yeah,
that said,
you can
Rudy.
unmute yourself.
Okay. With that said, that's why you see this in Venezuela.
Yeah,
And
definitely the
that's
celebration.
why, hold on, I got one more. This is why you also see this. Hold on.
Yep, I saw that one too. But Gail is up. Unmute yourself, Gail, and let us know how you're feeling about everything, because we're about at the end. We're gonna wrap it up in about 10
I'll
minutes.
I'll be
go ahead.
quick as I can. I think Trump was pretty smart coming up with the James Monroe Doctrine, which was established in 1823. And the reason why President Monroe did that, he was opposing all the European colonization that was happening in America, and he wasn't standing for it. So Trump, endorsing the Monroe Doctrine, was able to go after the tankers with oil in it that were on their en route to Iran. And Obama bombed Libya in 2011, and no one said anything to him about that. Plus, Jimmy was right; he bombed other countries too. He didn't need approval from Congress. But everything Trump does, they give him crap anyway. But the bottom line here is, Venezuela has what, the most oil in the world, and what do you need oil for? Trump is building up a nuclear weaponry, and the AI is going to need a lot of electricity, a lot of oil, and a lot of minerals that are in Greenland. Trump's not stupid. That's why he's going after it, because he's got 3 multi-billionaires backing this AI project, and one of them is the guy who owns Oracle, and he's also got ties to Israel with the Mossad, so you can look him up. And this is what this is all about. He wants the minerals and he wants the oil, bottom line. And the cartel is just a smoke screen. But that's what this is all about. And no one's going to stop these multi-billionaires. Trust me. They've got the money and they've got the backup to go ahead with their project with the AI. And Trump keeps saying about the AI. So, we'll see what happens. That's my take.
Thank you, Gail. Appreciate that. Who else came on stage?
Julian just joined us, and Dallas just unmuted himself. So let me know, Dallas, in like 2 minutes, your thoughts, and then we'll go to Julian real quick.
Well, I want to introduce myself, greet everybody, greet Roy and Joseph, Julian. I want to greet y'all. How you? Well, I think this. I agree that this about what you said earlier about this, what's going with that Somalian thing that and with that Venezuelan, that with that those gangs. I've known about a long time, and
good, very good.
And on the alert and about it.
Thank you, Dallas.
All right. Thank you.
I'll let
Dallas.
y'all. Let y'all go to the next one. Has anything to say?
Yeah. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. So we're gonna go to Julian. You can unmute yourself and let us know how you're feeling tonight.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can.
I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I don't know why, but Great show today, guys. I really enjoyed it. Although I kind of, with the whole, I'm getting too much of an echo. I can't figure out why it's doing that.
Dallas, is it
Okay, so
Dallas?
I'll mute everyone and then see if you still hear something. Okay, go ahead.
I'm getting like a double feedback. How is it now? It's perfect now. Okay. Well, anyways, I thought it was a great show. I'm going to have to step out. I can't correct this problem, so thank you anyways. Great show. Happy New Year.
Okay, Julian, thank you so much. It's probably on your end. Yeah, you might have to fix that.
I just
Go
want to
ahead,
ask everybody, do you know what's going on in Iran?
Yeah, the people are rising up, getting ready to overthrow the government.
Yeah, the citizens are taking over, and they've burnt a lot of the Islamic buildings. And I forgot who the guy is that is fled to Russia, but they're destroying all the food that they had hidden away from the citizens. So they're tearing apart all the rice and all the other stuff that they found inside the warehouses. So it's very interesting to watch.
Yeah, we told everybody, second season that it's going to get crazier, and the year has started off with a bang. That's for sure.
January. We are only in January. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to get crazier. So I think what we could do real quick, let's get last thoughts from everybody, and then I want to address the last thing I want to address is something Ruby said. Play this clip and pick up next week's show off of this clip. So let's start with, is Roy still with us?
Yes. Roy, let me unmute him because I muted everybody. Sorry, guys. Okay, go ahead, Roy. Final thoughts.
Roy, yeah, what's your final thoughts on tonight's episode?
It's great, but this whole Venezuela thing, along with other Latin American countries, is going to be ongoing. And I'll be going down to South America in a couple weeks, and more likely to be keeping you posted with what's going on.
I was going to say, yes. Could you please come back and on the show and give us updates as you get them in real time?
Yeah, because I'm going down to Cucuta, Colombia, which is on the border of Venezuela, in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Yes, please come back.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this year.
And Happy New Year, everybody.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Happy New Year, Roy.
New Year.
You too. Also, this year we got the Olympics coming, and it's the 250th anniversary of our country. So Trump's got all kinds of stuff in store for the American people. So there might be a lot of good stuff happening too.
Oh, there's so much good happening right now. I know some people can't see that yet, but I'm just sitting back here and I'm like, this is awesome. So thank you, Gail, for sharing with us tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Dallas, you got any last words?
Well, it's another anniversary for our great country. It is, and it'll be our 250th anniversary, be our centennial, I think, in between that. And so it'll be in one way, it'll be a great celebration for this country on the 4th of July. It's going to be a special 4th of July, y'all.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot come out between now and July, and people are going to be very happy about it. All right, who else we got?
Joseph and Joseph. That's Joseph.
All right, Joseph. Does Joseph want to say anything? No?
Hey, Joseph, you're still on. You're unmuted.
Okay, maybe he stepped away. All right.
Maybe.
Bo, what's your thoughts tonight?
I thought everything was good. I really like you guys' opinions. It was awesome. I am going to make a prediction because I think it's nice to have it on record. what I think is going to happen with Trump and Venezuela. So cutting down the cartels in Venezuela. Next is going to be Cuba, and then Mexico is going to be last. And the reason I'm saying that is
Yeah.
if they go for Mexico now, or if they would have done it first, the cartels would move to Cuba or Venezuela, and then they'll just continue doing what they're doing. But now that they have got ships there, now Cuba isn't going to be able to send its drugs
Right.
and its money. Venezuela cannot send its drugs, cannot send its money. Trump is systematically going after deep state's money systems.
Absolutely.
And the cartel is going to be last. Okay. They're going to hit the cartel in Mexico. And then that's when I think they're going to go after deep state in our home country after
Yeah.
that's done, because there won't be enough money for them to continue their bribes.
Yes. I totally
Throwing it
agree
out
with that. I totally agree with that. That's why I wanted to play this last clip for Ruby here in a second, because I totally agree with that. That's what he's doing. I can't argue with that.
Oh, okay. Joseph, if you're back, you can say anything you want. You're unmuted. I think he turned on his camera really quick. So really quickly, I'll give my last thoughts. I think tonight was such a great show. And I next week I'll go a little bit more in depth about the Somali issue, because it's deeper than what we had time to go into. But a really great point that Fighter made in the comment section was about the whole voting situation. And she said, well, why hasn't Trump already did the investigation about 2020 if this was an issue? And I replied and I said, well, I think this is the beginning of that. This whole operation was so that we can get that like on paper, like proof that that is what actually happened in 2020. And all of the people that were fired or canceled or deleted from the internet for speaking about the stolen election will be validated once and for all. And even Trump himself, like, you know how many people called him like a liar or like a dictator for wanting to take over, and he had to step away on J6. Like, that's exactly what happened today, 5 years ago. Like, that was the biggest L that I think Trump could have ever taken, and he had to swallow that. And I think that's really hard, especially for Trump, because if it was hard for us, imagine him. So that's kind of how I view it, and I think that this will uncover the 2020 stuff. I'm hoping. I hope that will happen, and little by little, my support for Trump. I'll be honest, I am swaying a little bit closer to Trump. Like, after this whole situation, I am more in, not totally, but more in favor of what he's doing the second time around. I just want to see it happen domestically. I want to see the 2020 election stuff be like, on paper, in the court system. I want to see people get arrested for stealing the election 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Hopefully that happens.
In response to that, Ruby, Harry, the soul coach on X, put out, Trump is showing us it's happening. 2020 elections is coming into the light. The truth is ready to be received. Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Mesa County, Nevada, everywhere. And who would know about the Smartmatic stuff in Venezuela? Maduro. He wasn't killed. He was taken alive. The boy is going to sing like a canary.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful that Trump is doing this also for his own record of all those people making videos and all those politicians calling him names and dragging him through the mud. And I felt that deep inside too. Like, it was a slap to us. The people who voted for him, they stole it from us. They didn't steal it from him. They stole it from us.
Oh, exactly.
And we have to start more personally, and we have to be more angry about that as well, that they took it from us, the people, and they put Joe Biden in office.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, play your clip, Jimmy.
Bo wanted to say something.
Go ahead.
Just what Ruby was saying. I just want to say something to you, Ruby. All that you're saying, I agree with you every 100%. They're showing everything right now, and I think that once they hit us, what they're going to do is they're going to Alex Jones all these people. That's why they're letting the information out there. It's why it's going to the public, because once it comes back, once they've done it, the Democrat Party, people like me and you, who they did that, harassed us, and stuff, we can go and sue the shit out of them. And I think that they're going to Alex Jones the Democrat Party.
Hey, I'll stand in line and be ready to sue Facebook.
Imagine how many people they've done that to. Imagine how many lawsuits they could get for this stuff once this is all out.
Yeah,
And
I'm ready to sue
hiding it.
Facebook. I'm ready to sue Facebook.
They're done.
So yeah,
If only. I hope that Trump continues. Go ahead, Jimmy.
remember when I have said before, drip, 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 and then flood? That's what we're seeing right now. The information has been dripped out for a long time, and you're getting ready to see a flood of information. But now here's the thing, Bo touched on it a second ago, that he's seen Latin America getting cleaned up, the deep state operations getting cleaned up there, and then coming to America. This clip, I thought you might appreciate this, Ruby. So let me play this one, and then we'll go from there. All right, let me hit my M. All right, hang on.
And we have one simple question, sir.
Sorry. Okay.
Dear Mr. President, this is coming from we, the American people, and we have one simple question, sir. Can we be liberated from the corruption in our own country the same way that you helped liberate the Venezuelans from theirs? Because whether people want to admit it or not, we have our own versions of narco-terrorists, warmongers, and power-hungry authoritarians that walk freely up in Washington, D.C. They wear suits instead of uniforms. They hide behind committees instead of cartels. And they rob the American people in broad daylight. You show the world that it just takes hours to cross a border, identify corruption, and to remove a dictator in the dead of night. Meanwhile, here at home, we are watching the same corrupt figures walk freely year after year with zero accountability, zero consequences, and zero shame. And let me be crystal clear, sir. We are happy for this Venezuelan people. We celebrate their freedom. We are celebrating their justice. But we are also asking, when is it our turn? We feel that swift justice applied to those who abuse power here. We feel that accountability reach the people who launder influence through policies, who treat the American taxpayers like unlimited funding. We are told to trust the system, but the same system audits us, finds us, and threatens us, all while they're simultaneously protecting all of those at the top. So we are not asking for chaos. We are asking for equal justice. This freedom doesn't stop at foreign borders. Corruption does not become acceptable just because it wears an American flag on its lapel. Mr. President, the American people are watching. We are paying attention. And we are asking respectfully, firmly, and loudly, when will the liberation from corruption come home? Dear Mr. President, this is
I thought you would love that. And I will just say I'm excited about her fire here, because now the American people as a whole that know what's going on, at least has some sense of clue what's going on, are starting to speak like she is. And so by her doing that, us doing what we do, what Bo said about Trump coming to America and bringing us, I'm with him. It's going to happen. It's going to take a little while, but we got to remember, Trump has to do everything by the rule of law. And so far, he has done that, regardless of what you hear on the media or regardless of whatever you believe, because you haven't looked into the information.
And I agree with that. That's the only reason why I have a little bit more faith in Trump this time around, is because I'm finally feeling like it's coming around. I just want that to fully, like, I want to see that end result, basically. I want to see that happen. I want to see arrests. I want to see all these corrupt people in jail already, everybody who has ever helped, all the politicians. I want to see non-American politicians out of office. I want to see those things happen, and it's only going to happen domestically if we do it, if we continue to expose, because it is our responsibility, not just the president. Because what he did overseas, I understand he has the right to do that, but he doesn't have that same leeway in domestically, because we have different laws, we have the Constitution. I get that. It's more of a state and a citizen issue. And I'm perfectly fine with that, because Florida has done a very great job. I think they did like checkpoints recently, a highway checkpoints, and I heard somewhere that they already got 10,000 illegals by just putting checkpoints. Like, it's simple, guys. It's not that hard. So if we can do it, everybody else can do it. There's no excuse. That's the faith that I have, that this time around, Trump ain't fooling around, and he means what he says. I want to see a little less pro-Israel, and there's some other things that I wish were different about Trump, but overall, I am like 50% of the way back on that train. I want to be there. I want to celebrate, and I want to see him win, because if he wins, we win. It's about us. It's not about him, because the only thing that he can do is for our country. Yeah, but we are the people of that country. We are the nation. So it's our responsibility to do it first and not put all the blame on these politicians. It is us who have to do what Nick Shirley did and start knocking on these doors and saying, why the hell are you taking millions of dollars from my government? You come from a different country. You're not even supposed to be here. And this is why I'm against legal immigration, because they come here legally, but they still commit crimes. They are not compatible with our Western values. They are literal pirates in America, continuing to do what they do in their own country. They do it here. And when we find out about it, they want to start calling, oh, you're racist. Are we the only group of people that commit fraud? No, but you're doing it. So do not act like you're innocent. Get out of my country. Stop taking my money, because that should be going to American families. Even those jobs, even those properties, they're buying it up, they're using it up, and they're just taking the check. Nobody's getting fed. Nobody's taken care of. There's no childcare being done anyway. So I want to talk more about that next week. We'll wrap it up here. But that's the type of fire that I finally see in these American people when they started saying, let's do a tax, like a revolution. Let's stop paying taxes after this whole Somali fraud, right? And I went on X and I was like, I didn't need fraud to realize that tax is theft. So the normie needed to see fraud to finally say, we should stop paying taxes if they're stealing it. Yeah, even the government is stealing it and sending it to other countries. I got a problem with everybody.
Do you see how there has been stages of waking up? And it takes different things to wake different people up. So like I said, I woke up in 2020, to all this stuff. And people thought I was crazy. People think you're crazy, Ruby. But now you got more people. Now you got, during COVID, people woke up. During the Fauci people woke up. Now the fraud is waking people up. Just wait until you find out about the elections and the Smartmatic and more corruption, not just in Minnesota, but California and other states. Yeah, there's a lot more coming, folks. A lot. I can promise you that.
I'm glad that we're reeling you back, Ruby. I was sad to know that you were floating away, and I'm glad that I reeled you back. Trump's doing his job. He's getting his opinion back. I meant a lot.
The only problem, two problems, is because Trump is in bed with Israel. That's the only thing. I wish we could get a divorce from Israel already. And the second thing is I'm upset that the average American needs a catastrophic event to happen for them to finally wake up, as if This is not like normal political stances to have. Like the libertarians, from day one, they have been preaching things that is simple. You don't need an event to realize that this is happening. Why do you need something bad to happen to prevent it from happening?
Because people don't care until it directly affects them.
That. And what have I said before? It's not until people reach the precipice of destruction before they have the will to change. That's
But
why.
that's not an excuse.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
Not an excuse, but it's a reality.
it's a reality. There's people out there that still think everything is fine and everything is good. And so, but that's why there's going to be more events. And as far as the Israel thing is concerned, just wait on that, because that's going to come out too.
Right.
Oh, I am.
Thank you guys.
Every day
I
I
can't
see
wait
something.
for next week.
Okay, bye. Oh, thank you for joining. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you to Roy. Who else joined us? Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Joseph joined us. Gail. Who else joined us? I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Oh, Jesty joined us. Everybody in the chat joined us. And Jimmy, always thank you to you. Dallas, thank you for joining. All right, guys. So we're gonna see you next Tuesday. My rant is not over. Okay, don't think that this is over, because next Tuesday I'm still gonna talk about this, because there's a Somali born to immigrant parents in the state of Utah that is running for Congress. And if you don't think that's a problem, then we have a lot to discuss next Tuesday, because I think that is a major issue.
And I'll stay up to date on the Venezuela stuff too. So.
Oh yeah, please do. If anything else comes out, guys, please join us as early as possible to the stage. You know, be in the chat. I love how interactive our chat is, and I love how I get to type while we're live and talk to you guys. You know, like everything is in real time. It's raw. It's live, and I love that. So I can't wait to see you guys next Tuesday.
Thank you,
And
everyone.
you know, we need a new outro. I don't have an outro. Like, you know how.
Play the intro for the outro.
Okay, so until we have an outro, I'll just play the intro. That's a good idea. But I do want to get one for like when the show ends.
Yeah.
I want another song, or like another
one.
Something.
Okay. I tell you what. I'll look through the 10 songs I did for the UPC album and pick out the best one to end the show on. And then I'll ask John if he can do a video about it.
Yeah, before you ask John though, send it to me, because I want something more like hopeful. It doesn't have to be like rock and roll. It can just be something that like simmers.
The one song I'm thinking about. The one song that I'm thinking about that actually did pretty good. Hey, well, let's do a test run. And let the audience pick. Okay, so go to my YouTube channel. Yeah, go to my YouTube channel. Let's play one as the outro for tonight. And then we'll just leave it. And if they like it, cool. If they don't like it, then we can play one of the other ones and let the audience pick the outro. So we'll play. Yeah.
Well, and if you don't have to go to your channel too, like on your own time, go to Jimmy's channel and see if there's anything else you like.
Yeah, so go to my channel, go to the playlist.
So playlists, okay, and then what?
You play the one Rise Up.
Rise Up. Okay, hold on, let me. Okay, got it.
Okay, and so we'll play this as the outro for tonight, and we'll see y'all next week.
Awesome. Okay, I'm getting it set up. Hold on, guys. Sorry, there's a lot of things to click.
That's what I was having an issue with earlier.
I know, like, sheesh. So many things to click. Okay. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
song won't work no more. We see the rock behind your door. You thought we bow, you thought we break, but now a sleeping giant wakes. Can you hear it coming? Thunder in the streets. Can you feel it rising? We will not retreat. We won't bow down to your authority. Won't swallow all your lies and let you bury me. The power's ours, it always was. We're taking back the crown. We're gonna rise, gonna rise, gonna tear your chest down. Right down. You profit while we bleed and burn. Spin the wheel, but it's our turn. Your puppet strings are showing clear. Your manipulation ends right here. Keep your bribes and keep your games. We're done playing, done with chains. Every wall you built so high will bring crashing from the sky. Can you hear it coming? Thunder in the streets. Can you feel it rising? We will not retreat. We won't bow down to your authority. Won't swallow all your lies and let you bury me. The power's ours, it always was. We're taking back the crown. We're gonna rise, gonna rise, gonna tear your kingdom down. United we stand, divided we fall, but we see through your plan. We're breaking these walls. No more protection, no more control.